Hey, greetings and salutations. So, a little over a month ago, I opened a Patreon account. I got an immediate response. And for those of you who have decided to support the channel on a monthly basis, thank you for your continued support. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. And as a result of that quick response, I wasn't expecting there to be such a quick response. And because there was, I decided I was going to change up how I was going to upload videos. So as of March 16th, the upload schedule is as follows. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are regular upload days. And those videos will get uploaded to Patreon first for the first week. So all three tiers get early access to the videos a week in advance. Well, they go to Patreon without advertising. So you get to watch those videos as I record them ad-free. And then after a week, they go over to YouTube where they get monetized. So in a nutshell, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, whether you're a Patreon supporter or a regular YouTube subscriber, you're getting regular content. Saturday and Sundays are kind of special content days. For the tier 2 and 3 patrons, on Saturday you get blooper and outtake reel. And then on Sunday, the premium patrons get a kind of an open topic video. This week's topic was the virus and all the retards that are doing stupid shit like, buying pickup truckloads of toilet paper for a disease that's only claimed less than 100 lives in this country. So I'm not trying to minimize the crisis. I'm just saying that people are really overreacting, and the media certainly is feeding into it. I probably got this video demonetized just by saying. So if you hear the audio blackout when I say coronavirus, it's because I don't want this video to be demonetized. Anyway, today I'm gonna change things up a little bit. I've got some. I do have some more bus content coming, and I'm gonna start getting on these rigs out here. Get these things going. I need to finish up that blue Jeep and get it the frick out of here because it's just taking up space, and I don't think I'm going to keep it. So it's got to go. But I got to fix the AC in it before it goes, so that'll be the next topic for that. But I want to talk about my EDC, in particular my EDC knife that I've been carrying for the last year. For most of you that have been here for a while, you're going to recognize this. This is a CRKT Avant, and this has been one of my favorite knives, and I've really promoted this knife. And some of you have even went to Amazon and purchased this knife based on my recommendation. And I hope that you don't regret your purchase. I certainly don't regret purchasing this knife. I bought this knife because I was watching a video on YouTube. Imagine that. That was being made by Blade HQ, and they'd just gone to Blade Show. They came back with all the 2019 new CRKT knives for 2019, and this was one of them. And there's also another knife that was released in 2019 that I haven't talked about that I did purchase, and that's the CEO. And I just bought that one because it looked cool. I don't carry it because it's not a front pocket carry type knife. As the name would imply, it belongs in the front pocket of a dress shirt. If you want me to do a video on that, comment in the comment section. I'd be glad to do it. I haven't carried it. I bought it just to collect it. But this is the CRKT Avant in carbon fiber scales. This would be classified as a liner lock, but the liners are relatively thick. And this checks just about every box that I look for when I buy a knife. I don't like serrated blades. I like plain blades, drop points in particular. I'm not opposed to sheep's foots or tanto blades. I just particularly like this knife, and that's what attracted me to it was the carbon fiber scales and the bronze accents, which have quite a bit of pocket wear. I misplaced this knife, and I didn't know where it was. It was on the bus, but I'd misplaced it. I couldn't find it for a while, and actually went to go open a box. I think it was the electric fan for the Jeep, and I reached in my pocket to get my knife to cut the band that held it to the cardboard, and I couldn't. It wasn't in my pocket. I gotta stop and find that, man. My knife. And I panicked a little bit. Well, I couldn't find it, so I had to dip into my reserves, and I pulled out a knife that I hadn't carried yet, and I really wasn't planning on carrying. And I want to talk about it a little bit. But if you're in a market for a knife and you want a reasonably priced, well-built knife that has just, this knife still gives me the fizz. You can get one for under 60 bucks. I'll put a link in the description if you're looking for a decent knife. But I did a video on this a while back. I'll put a link to that up here in the card. I think it'll probably be up here. And you can watch that review. About the same time I bought this one. This is the one I got in my pocket currently. And I bought this one because I was watching a video on YouTube, imagine that, from Nut and Fancy, where he did a knife review about this knife, and that's when I learned about Massdrop. Now, Massdrop is a website where you can go. Well, actually, it's not called Massdrop anymore. It's just called Drop. And it's a website where companies release a particular brand, a particular product, and they usually release it. It's usually companies like Ferum Forge that does small quantities, small lots, and they release it on a site like drop.com, where they can, they can get a bunch of orders, so they know exactly how many they need to fill. The sale runs for a particular amount of time, and then after it's sold through, they fill the order. And I picked this one up. This is the Ferum Forge Gent, and I picked this one up because it's got cheese all over it. I use my knives. I don't just admire them. So this is the Ferum Forge Gent. This one was made for Massdrop. You can see them. I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro, but it says Massdrop right there in the blade. And this is unique. You can't get these anymore. At least not the ones that say Massdrop on them. Currently, drop.com has these available at the time of this recording with available carbon fiber or rosewood scales only. This one has G10 in OD green. They also offered this in black and blue. When I purchased it, actually, in video it doesn't really imply just how small this knife is. Let's compare it to the Avant. So in comparison, it's considerably smaller, and it's definitely lighter than the Avant. When I purchased this, it was like 65 bucks. And the one that's available now on drop.com is 125 with the carbon fiber scales or the rosewood scales. But it's still it's still a $100 knife. This was originally retailed for $100, and they were selling them through for $65. And I liked the looks of it, and I liked the salesmanship of Nut and Fancy. Got me hooked on it, so I purchased it. And when I got it, it came in this box. Massdrop and Ferum Forge, and it came with this nice case with a display cloth with the Ferum Forge logo on it. Right. Don't eat these. The case has Massdrop's logo on it. Has a spot for 2 blades. How nice. This is actually a pretty nice surprise. I wasn't expecting to get a knife case too. This is a liner lock knife. It's on a ball bearing pivot. It carries tip up. It does not have provisions for tip down carry, but it does have provisions for left hand carry. It has a deep carry pocket clip. I mean, look how deep that carries in the pocket. It just disappears. I've been carrying this now for about a month, and it was wicked sharp when it came out of the box. And I, like I say, I use my knives, and it's still wicked sharp. It's probably not razor sharp anymore. Oh, yeah, it is. It is, what is the steel here? It's S35 VN steel, which is stainless steel. What's this one? I don't know if it says. It doesn't say. I'll look it up and I'll put it down. I'll annotate it here what steel this was. This what the CRKT Avant is. So am I going to continue to carry this? Well, no. And the reason I'm gonna continue to use this as my backup EDC. It's a very competent blade. I love the fit and finish. I know the GoPro isn't going to show just the kind of attention to detail that this knife was built. The reveal between the scale and the liner is consistent throughout. There's just an ever so slight bevel to the edges, and not only in the scales and in the liners, but also at the top of the blade here. There's a very slight bevel. The screw heads are just below the surface of the scales, and the screw heads have a very pretty jeweled machine finish. What else can I say about this? It's just a dead sexy knife, I think. There's finger choil area underneath the blade that allows you to choke up and do some detailed work if you have to. This works very well as a meal prep knife, a steak knife, cut your food, cut cheese, whatever. Just an all-around good knife. But it is one of the more expensive knives that I've purchased. Now I'm not about to. I'm not a knife snob by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, CRKT Avant will cost me 60 bucks, and I knew about where I misplaced it, and it took me 2 weeks to find it, and I was a little bit upset because $70 is, you know, to me is a considerable amount of money for a knife, and I don't want to lose it. To replace this would cost me $125, and I don't want to lose this one either because this is a really nice knife and I like it a lot. So I'm going to put this back in its box. I'm just going to go back on my knife shelf. And the knife that I'm going to start carrying is an inexpensive knife. And I've been kind of eyeballing this one for a while. It's been in one of my Amazon lists for over a year, and I decided that I was going to go ahead and purchase this one recently. And this is from F3 Knives. It's the Gonzo, also known as the Firebird Gonzo. And this is a lot bigger than the other two. Let's compare this Gonzo with the CRKT Avant. Now the Avant's not a small knife by any stretch of the imagination, but the Gonzo is almost a full inch bigger. And the thing I like about the Gonzo is the pattern of the carbon fiber. This is actual carbon fiber. I would imagine that, you know, the CRKT Avant uses the outermost layer of this composite material is carbon fiber, and then the underlying material is probably fiberglass or some other type of composite material. And they probably did the same thing with this. Why did I buy this knife? Well, a couple reasons. This knife was 20 bucks. And it has an axis lock. The one thing it doesn't have is a flipper tab, so you got to use the thumb studs, or you could pull back on the axis lock and use some English to open the blade. But I wanted to try an axis lock, but I didn't want to spend, you know, a couple $100 on a, you know, that Osborn. and lose it or not like it. And so I decided I would pick this one up for, I think I paid $23 for this one. And the reason why I'll put a link in the description for one that you can find for under 20 bucks, same knife. And the reason I paid $23 for this one is because the picture that was illustrated showed the anodized blue screws, thumb studs, and pivot bolt was anodized blue, and obviously it's not. So I'm not going to promote that one. I'll promote the one I was going to buy and actually had in my cart for $18.95. You know, I opened this and looked at it before I made this video, and I thought, no, I'm going to put this back in the box, and I'll wait till I make a video before I put it on my hip. That way I haven't carried this one. I opened the box and looked at it, played with it for a few minutes. So I'm really unfamiliar with it. The one thing about an axis lock is that the blade will fall, and I like to use one hand to deploy my knives and stow them. And to do that, you need to pull back on the axle, let the thing fall, and if your fingers are in the way, you can actually guillotine yourself. How sharp is this blade? Sharp enough. It's razor sharp. That's disgusting. I need to moisturize for crying out loud. How long is this blade? I think this is looks about 3.5 inch blade. Whereas the Avant looks like it's about 2 3/4. It needs to be sharpened fully. And the Ferum Forge Gent is 2 3/4. This one is 404 stainless, I believe. No, 440C. This one's 440C, which is typical of a knife of this price point. But it's pretty well constructed. The liners are relatively thin in comparison. Much thinner than the Avant. But this one's a $20 knife. This one's an $80 knife. So this is going to be my new EDC for now. It does carry right or left pocket, only tip up carry. Detent seems, it's not going to open in your pocket. The detent is pretty secure. It's pretty pronounced. There's no wobble in the blade, in the axis. Blade's pretty secure. Centers up nicely. And I'm reaching for the liner lock, which it doesn't have. That's going to take some time to get used to. It flies out pretty quickly. I mean, throw a little English at it, but the thumb studs are pronounced enough to where you can get to the knife to open without too much English at all. I just got really short, stubby thumbs. So that's the Firefly. I think it's called the Firefly. Oh, excuse me, Firebird. The Firebird Gonzo. Brought to you by Gonzo Tools. Comes in this handsome little box, a little knife bag, and some bubble wrap. These are my 3 favorite knives currently, and they'll probably go into rotation. But I really wanted to try out an axis lock. And if you'd like to try out an axis lock knife, but you don't want to spend $250 on an Osborn, check the link in the description. I'll put a link there for one of these Firebird Gonzos where you can pick one up for under 20 bucks. And I'm going to carry this for a while, and maybe we'll revisit this in 3 to 6 months. See how I really like it. See how it holds an edge. I suspect it's not going to hold an edge as well as the Gent, but I can buy these. I can't buy that. So that's all I got for today. Thanks so much for stopping by. So check the links in the description for this and other knives that I like. There's going to be a couple down there from CRKT, and I'll put one to this Firebird Gonzo. And if you're not in the market for a knife, but you shop on Amazon anyway, could you do me a huge favor and go through one of those links to get whatever it is you do want? Maybe you're in the market for some toilet paper. I know there's a lot of people that are looking for toilet paper. Don't be one of those people that goes up. Look, you want an alternative to toilet paper? Go down to your auto parts store and buy a roll of the blue shop rags, you know, and cut it in half. Now you might want to refrain from flushing that down the toilet. Maybe throw it in the garbage. But I tell you what, you can get a lot of use out of one of them shop towels, and they're so soft. Don't ask me how I know. But you know, cool your jets. Don't. The end is not near, and if it is, you can't do anything about it anyway. But anyway, I digress. If you'd like to support this channel financially, first of all, if you are supporting this channel financially, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to join the club, there's a few ways you can do that. The most inexpensive way to support this channel is to click the thumbs up button and share it with your vast social media network for the low price of free. Even I can afford that. But if you, like I said, if you do shop on Amazon, go through one of the links in the description. Channel can earn a little bit of a kickback, a little bit of a commission, if you will, and all that money gets rotated right back into creating content for all you guys. If you want to throw a couple of bucks in the pot, there's a link in the description to PayPal. You can throw me a bone that way, or if you would like to become a monthly supporter of this channel, there's a link in the description to Patreon. Check those links out, see if that's something you might be interested in doing. And if you can afford to do that, thank you in advance. And if you can't, enjoy the content anyway. It just means we're probably related. And so until next time, you have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, keep your powder dry, and have a splendid day. I'm going to do some wiring in the bus right now. Okay, see you next time. Bye.